Good evening. I'd like to call to order the St. Charles City Council meeting for Tuesday, February 18th, 2025. Nancy, please call the roll.
Yep. Yes.
Wirball?
Here.
Besner?
Yeah.
Here. Weber?
Here.
Sulkitis?
Here.
Oak?
Here.
Bongard?
Here.
Munn? Here. Lencioni?
Yes.
Gem?
Here.
Petrilla?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay. Tonight's invocation will be given by Alderman Lencioni.
Thank you. Dear Lord, thank you for our many blessings. Help us never take them for granted and value the many opportunities we have for gratitude you provide us every day. Amen.
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 Alderperson Munn, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we do not have any presentations this evening, so we'll move on to the omnibus vote. Alderman Besner.
Thank you, Mayor Vitek. I'd like to make a motion to approve the omnibus vote.
Second.
Moved by Besner, seconded by Lencioni. Any comments or questions? Nance, please call the roll.
Wirball?
Yes.
Besner?
Yes.
Weber?
Yes.
Sulkitis?
Yes.
Oak?
Yes.
Bongard?
Yes.
Munn? Yes. Lencioni?
Yes.
Gem?
Yes.
Thank you. We do not have any old business or new business. Under committee reports, government operations, Alderman Weber, anything further?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Government services, Alderman Bongard, anything further?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
And planning and development, Alderman Lencioni, anything?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Any public comment this evening? Sure.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
For the time. I'm Phil Kessler, 345 South 2nd Street, St. Charles. My wife and I have been in our home for 28 years, and I am here because of some public safety concerns that I have and my neighbors and some other business owners. You may remember that I came before you in November of 2021, and I asked for some help with this issue. There were some things that were done, but they were not long-lasting. Excuse me one second, let me get my outline. So the problems persist. The cars that are in the parking garage, parking structure, the cars are causing a lot of trouble. We're exasperated. It's past time for the city to find a permanent solution. Reckless driving, disturbing the peace, items thrown from the roof. This is getting really bad, folks, and it hasn't let up. During those years, we nearby residents and business owners have put up with an almost nightly cacophony of revving and popping engines, smoking tire donuts, and other problems caused mostly by people who are not city residents or patrons of the businesses who congregate for social media filming and etc. The business owners in and nearby the structure have witnessed a shocking array of items thrown from the roof, endangering their patrons and the general public. Reckless driving and general chaos spill forth from the structure into our surrounding neighborhood. They've caused a lot of additional problems, including hit and run crashes, excessive noise, and etc. We all kind of know this car type. They're the small import. They're low to the ground, dark windows, loud exhaust, revving and popping. We may hear some coming through here tonight even. We've all seen them, and it's time to stop ignoring them. Since they're seeking attention with their noise and antics, let's give it to them, and lots of it. So I've met over these years multiple times with the chief of police, the assistant chief of police, former, Alderman Wirball and Petralia, alderperson. They've helped as much as they can. We've been asked to call 911. We have many times, but we can't call every night. It's happening 3 times a week, 3 to 4 to 5 times a week. We are being disturbed. We can't sleep. It's not entirely a policing problem. This is a management and structure problem. The structure needs a comprehensive plan. We're being denied the peaceful enjoyment of our property. We're seeking an immediate response to cease this unlawful activity, to restore the peace, and find a permanent solution. Now, a couple other quick things, and I think there's other folks in here who are going to speak on this subject. Okay, thank you. I also have been, over the years, many times speaking with the owners and operators of the restaurants down on 1st Street. So I won't get into all the details. Some of you may know about this already, but I have a written statement. I'm going to give you copies of this. Written statement from Ken Hendricks of Alter Brewing, Alex Durant of Giamia, Julie Ayano of Moto e Moto. There were some others who expressed their support. They're not here. They were going to send me some statements. They didn't do that. But anyway, you get the idea. So, in fact, let me give you those statements right now. May I approach?
Sure.
Mayor?
We'll hand them out. Do you have enough for everyone, or?
No, sorry.
Okay, then I'll have, we'll make sure these get into the record, and we'll
Do,
make
yes, I'd like those
sure we'll
submitted.
make copies and give them to all the council members
Thank you.
after tonight.
Submitted for the record. Okay, and then I'll try to wrap this up here. And, well, a couple of things. I know that I have here a copy of the Illinois compiled statute of the vehicle noise. And essentially it says every motor vehicle driven or operated must be equipped with an adequate muffler or exhaust system in constant operation and properly maintained. No such muffler shall be equipped with cutout, bypass, or similar device. It has to be a muffler that was originally installed on the vehicle. So most of these vehicles don't have that. So we've got to be enforcing that. I know that the city of St. Charles has, I believe it's here, Title IX, Public Peace, Morals, and Welfare Code. I don't see in here, I read it, I don't see anything specifically about this issue or these kind of cars. So anyway, maybe we could do something about that and put something like that in there to make it easier to enforce. Okay, so I believe that's everything I've got on that. Any questions?
No, so I think on this matter, what I'll do is defer to Deputy Chief Majewski and City Administrator McGuire, because I do know we've had some conversations. Obviously, we agree. I know that there's been several conversations and there's been issues, and we've addressed them with some cameras and such.
Right.
We won't be able to obviously solve that problem tonight, but I know that the two of them can talk about the things that we did do this weekend. In addition to that, I don't think that's obviously going to solve the problem long term. However, I'm going to lean on Deputy Chief Majewski to, strategize with your department on things that we haven't done, but I'll turn it over to you, City Administrator.
Thank you, Mayor. I think you hit on a couple of the comments that I was going to make, just that the mayor and council do take this issue very seriously, and it is something that we have been working on. A number of efforts have been made through cameras, through enforcement. Certainly understand, though, that to this point, that's not sufficient, and it's something that we continue to work on. So the deputy chief and I had a conversation last week to up the enforcement and do a dedicated patrol there, but I will turn it over to him to detail exactly what efforts we're currently making and then what we will continue to make.
Thank you.
So thank you, Mr. Kessler.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we're just going to let Deputy Chief address what he was going to say, and then we can bring you up. Is that okay?
Okay, that's fine.
Thank you.
Well, first of all, Mr. Kessler, I apologize for the inconvenience and what's going on in the neighborhood. Like Heather said, we are doing everything we can. Certainly, our officers are patrolling or extra patrolling the parking garage very frequently when they do have time. The cameras that we do have up there are displayed in our patrol area pretty much 24 hours a day. So if we're not seeing something live or in progress, we can go back and investigate it. Specifically, an incident you mentioned where somebody was throwing stuff over the top. And then also in the garage on the second level, one of our cameras can pick up license plates. It doesn't run the plate, but it does give us an identifiable plate so we can follow up, which has been very useful to us to investigate incidents that have occurred. So we do try to get out there and enforce as much as we can. But in the absence that we miss something or we're not there in time, we do have the ability to go back and look at all the cameras, which we have done very successfully this past year since we've had the cameras enacted.
Okay.
Thank you. May I just comment on that? So I have called in, obviously, many times, and when I do call the 911, they will ask, do you see it? Well, I'm just a block away. I can hear everything going on. I can see some activity, but not exactly the car. And then I will tell them there are cameras in there, and you could timestamp or check the timestamp on that camera with the time of this call, and they should be able to find out who's doing this. So I don't know if that's happening or not, but
Okay.
thank you for...
So, Deputy Chief, just maybe it's possible that you could connect with Mr. Kessler, not tonight necessarily, but following up after this meeting, just to address some of the things that he's mentioning that maybe we haven't necessarily seen.
Certainly.
Is that fair?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your patience.
That's fine. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Eric Marak. I live at 408 Illinois Street. I'm here to supplement what Phil has brought up about the situation at the parking garage. Personally, my wife and I have seen from our property what's going on in the parking garage. We can see it, the car roofs above the wall on the 4th floor. And I can tell you that it's every night, not like 3 or 4 nights a week. It's every night. Last night I was walking the dog. Here it's like, what, 20 degrees last night. They were up in the parking garage and racing the engines, backfiring. People don't hear it on this side of the river because, you know, the storefronts and the offices block the opening. But the west side of the parking garage is open, and that goes right across Route 31 into my neighborhood. My neighbors have complained to me about it and said, you know, where's that coming from? I said, the parking garage. Call the police. Now, I've called numerous times. I had a call back from one of the officers, and he said to me, he goes, can you see the cars where you're at? I said, I can see some of them. They're coming down the ramp. The one night I counted 30 cars coming out of that parking garage from the top floors. It's like, well, why are these vehicles up there? Who is patrolling? And most importantly, that parking garage has a no loitering sign. If there's no loitering, nobody should be in there. If people are sitting in their vehicles doing this, and patrols are supposedly going through there, you tell them, no loitering, out. But every night, and this has been going on, I talked to Brian, how many, about 2 years now?
Years.
Yeah. We've talked about this, and it's time something's going to have to be done because somebody's going to get hurt up there. And it's not just, you know, maybe a passerby. Somebody's going to be up there, and one of their kids, somebody's kids is going to get hurt up there, and then we're going to have a lawsuit. So my suggestion is we have to ramp up. One of the things I think that we probably would have to do with that parking garage is put a gate and close it down after a certain hour so nobody can go up there anymore. It's just a simple precaution. Shut it down. I mean, on the weekends, yes, we have to keep it open longer for the restaurants and bars, but after a while, just shut it down. And I know in other villages, they have public access pieces of property that have to be shut down after a certain hour, and they have a village employee come out and they lock the doors or lock the gates. Maybe that's what we're going to have to do with this. I don't think a gate in the parking garage is going to work, just an electronic one, because they'll just break it or destroy it. So something is going to have to be done before we have a lawsuit, and I don't want to see that happen to this city. And most importantly, I'd like to have some peace and quiet in the neighborhood.
Thank you. Same applies, Deputy Chief, please. Thank you. So if he doesn't have your contact information, make sure you guys, please. Thank you. Anyone else? No? Okay. I don't have much except for Larry Gunderson's birthday. It's the 20th, so happy birthday to you. We do have an executive session this evening. Does anyone else have anything? Oh, yes, Brian.
Yeah, I have two things. To the parking deck issues, that is a public safety issue, and my question for staff is, we did a parking study about a year ago. Where are we at with implementing some of the findings, especially for the parking deck that were recommended by Desmond?
It's something that we've been discussing, but with the recent budget discussions that we've had, it's all dependent upon available revenues, which we're working through right now. But a lot of the items that were non-necessary or critical infrastructure related items are going to be items that we are looking to cut from the budget right now. So those will be forthcoming discussions.
Okay. And the next thing I have is, I have a few constituents asking about the IMEA contract. It's been 4 or 5 months since we've had any discussions or updates. Is there a way we can get it on government services agenda in March to have an update or discussion at where we're at with the contract?
The staff is still gathering information on that, continuing to work through discussions with other communities that are engaging in additional studies. So at this point, we're waiting on some of those other pieces of information before we bring additional discussion before City Council.
So is one of the communities Naperville?
Correct.
So I'm fine with that, but I would like to know what are those discussions? You know what I'm saying? I would like to have that conversation in a public meeting so the constituents understand what we are doing, because right now we're saying we're doing our due diligence, but I haven't seen anything for 4 or 5 months other than going to Bright Futures meetings, educating myself on the subject. So
The information that we're waiting on is based on that study that Naperville is completing, which they intend to complete in March. So until they get that information back, that's the next check-in point that we're waiting on. So that'll be the next prompt to have that discussion with City Council.
So you're anticipating March?
March is when they'll be getting that information back, correct?
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, as I mentioned, we do have an executive session this evening, but we'll move on to committees, so I just need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Wirball, seconded by Lencioni. Nancy, can you please call the roll?
Wirball?
Yes.
Besser?
Yes.
Weber?
Yes.
Kulkaitis?
Yes.
Folk?
Yes.
Conger?
Yes.
Munn? Yes. Lencioni? Gem?
Yes.